parents and carers' rights, but we thought it would be helpful just to pull together parents' rights in one slide right at the beginning to help with, again, just understanding parents' rights, but also providing the information that can really help you explain this to the families you're working with. So right up front, again, it's worth knowing that the definition of parent in education law includes anyone who has parental responsibilities, guardianship, or care of a child or young person. And this means that these rights apply to kinship carers or to foster carers as well. We recently held an event with the Fostering Network, which we went very well. But what we did find out from that was that there are lots of foster carers who don't know about their rights and their children's rights to additional support. And so it can be really helpful to check if you're working or supporting kinship carers or foster families, just to make sure that they are aware of these rights. So parents and carers obviously have expert knowledge about their children and should be involved in decisions and discussions about their education and their additional support. But parents and carers have specific rights to share their views about their children's support needs and have these views taken into account. Parents and carers also have the right to have a supporter or advocate present at meetings about their children's support. And that's always one we feel is really important to mention, because meetings can feel really overwhelming for families. And so being able to take someone along with them can be a real relief for them. And it can help with just very practical bits of the meeting, taking notes, reminding them that they wanted to ask questions or whatever. So that's always good to let families know that. Parents and carers can ask for an assessment if they think their children's or their child's needs have not been identified, or if they feel that there has been a change in their needs. They also have the right to ask for a specific type of assessment, such as an educational psychology or mental health assessment. And I'll talk a little bit more about that just after this slide. Parents and carers have the right to ask for coordinated support plans, and that can be because that there hasn't been an assessment for it, or because a child's circumstances have changed. And a coordinated support plan is a legal plan put in place for children who need significant support, and Hannah's going to cover that in a wee bit more detail later in the presentation. So your local authority must take, the parents and carers local authority must seek and take account of parents and carers' views and any advice when assessing a child's needs or when they're being assessed for a coordinated support plan. And again, these are parents and carers' basic rights, but it's very helpful to share these with parents and carers. We know from talking to families on our helpline for many years that often parents feel like they're not being listened to, or that their views are not being taken account of or taken seriously. So being aware that parents have these rights can really help them feel more confident when they're speaking to the school. So what's also hugely important, we think, for families to know is that additional support for learning isn't just a good idea, it is the law. And what we hope from this session is to give you the information about the law that's helpful to families, but also save you the task of trying to look for that information, understand and digest that information, and make it really easy for you to pass this information on and share it with the parents that you're working with. So very briefly, the main law relating to additional support for learning is the Education Additional Support for Learning Scotland Act 2004, quite a mouthful, so we just tend to talk to it, refer to it as the ASL Act. It gives parents, pupils the right to extra support if they need it, and it provides the legal framework for identifying and addressing the additional support needs of children who may face barriers to learning. There's also an accompanying code of practice which sets out what's expected from schools and local authorities and the rights of parents, carers, children and young people that I've been talking about. And although Inquirer provides advice and information about the Acts, we also are able to provide advice on other legislation that impacts on children and young people with additional support needs. And we've included some of those